The following featured presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
It's a Neverland clubhouse, yeah, yeah, yeah. Think of all that we will share. Disney updates and fandom will take you everywhere. It's Courtney and Kelly, two sisters that will be together. Oh, 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 join our Neverland clubhouse, yeah, yeah, yeah. Two is twice as nice as one. Memories with friends and family, everybody is welcome. It's Courtney and Kelly, two sisters guiding you through Disney. Together, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our 21st episode of Neverland Clubhouse. I'm Kelly, and now please welcome my sister, Courtney.
Hi, guys. And now please join us in welcoming Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland.
Hey, guys. I'm so excited. We get to talk about a Goofy movie, and you guys gave me an excuse to watch it.
Well, we gave you an excuse to watch it and to talk about it.
Yes. Yes, we did. Yeah. So we're doing something different this time. And if you're new here, well, Neverland Clubhouse is the Disney podcast where we go to different park lands and share Disney stories, news, and what's going on with Disney Plus. We are your tour guides through Disney fandom. And today we're your tour guides through Disney films.
Yes, we are.
A very nostalgic film.
Yeah, because on today's episode, we are going to sit in the Main Street Theater as we dive into this much underrated film, Disney film from 1995, a Goofy movie. And this is like one of my favorite movies.
Okay, I'm very curious why, so we're going to get into this. I've never seen it before today, yeah, so I did not see it as a kid.
We kind of challenged Sarah to watch it because it's one of our favorite movies and we wanted to talk about it. So we were like, Sarah's never seen it, so that's a good idea for a podcast.
Absolutely.
So let's hop in our motor car and hit the open road to the movie theater. So for those of you who don't know, in the 90s, Goofy started in his own afternoon animated show called Goof Troop. In this show, Goofy is a single father to Max, and it follows their adventures living in suburbia with their next-door neighbor, Pete, and family. That show premiered in 1992, and in 1995, they decided to make a feature-length film called The Goofy Movie. And the synopsis of the movie is, Kelly, go ahead.
It's the last day of school, and Max wants to catch the eye of Roxanne, the love interest, one of the more attractive girls in school. But how can you be cool when your dad's goofy? Stage an impromptu concert at the final assembly? That's how. Or at least it sounded good until Principal Mazar found out. Goofy finds out about his son's antics, sort of, and decides a fishing trip like his dad took him on is the solution. Of course, he doesn't know that Max finally lands a date with Roxanne for a party thrown by the class valedictorian. Through the movie, Goofy tries to bring Max out of his shell. While Max resents being taken away and lying to Roxanne about the trip, he tells her he and his dad will be appearing on TV at the Powerline concert in LA. Will Max sink or swim? Will Goofy goof up his son's first shot at romance? Will Bigfoot step back? And what about those nuns?
Okay, so first of all, let's pick this apart. So I did not know about Goof Troop. Like, I've heard Goof Troop, but I was a little too old for that to be on my radar. And did that only come out on the Disney Channel?
No, it was actually on a Disney Afternoon. It was part of the Disney Afternoon block.
Okay.
Which sometimes was on I don't know if it was in syndication or not, but I do remember it being on Channel 7, in the afternoon. It was with the block of Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Tailspin, Goof Troop.
Right.
They would like when one show would end, the next one would come out. So like, I don't know if like Gummy Bears is exactly like played with Goof Troop, but it definitely was in the same block of cartoons. Like,
Well, I think there was
cool.
a run on Disney Channel, and then they maybe replayed it on ABC on like Saturday mornings or something
Oh,
like
that
that.
makes sense.
too.
Because it definitely aired on Disney Channel.
So were
we
you two?
couldn't watch it.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we didn't have Disney Channel
Right.
all the time.
And I never had Disney Channel growing up. So did
Yeah.
you two watch Goof Troop?
A little bit. It wasn't one of my favorite shows. My obsession with Goofy basically started with a Goofy movie. So like 92, we were still a little young to really know what was going on.
We definitely found it later. Like
Oh.
maybe on a different run, like not when it premiered.
Okay.
Like we definitely found it maybe on Disney Channel when we had it and it was rerunning or something like that. And of course, like Goof Trope would come on after Darkwing Duck and DuckTales and stuff like that. So we just kind of watched it all in the same block of shows.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's get back to the movie. So, Courtney, you have delved down and found some fun facts. So let's share those with everyone, because this is what makes movies fun, is like all the kind of behind the scenes or fun facts.
Yeah.
So let's see. Courtney, why don't you start?
Okay. So the first fun fact that I found was that this film was originally made around late 1993. So they started on it right after Goof Troop premiered, like 1992. So, and it was supposed to be released in theaters during the holiday season of 94. However, some production problems in France caused the film's release to be pushed back to 1995, while Lion King, which was released in 1994, was reissued to fill in for the film's absence, which I didn't know before, because I just figured, it was a big movie. It did well in 94. So they really re-released it in 95, how they do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, the latest one to be Avatar. So that people knew what to expect going into the new one. But I didn't realize that it was to fill in for this movie.
Okay. All right, Kelly, do you have one?
Yes, I found it interesting that the inspiration for the film came from Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the chairman of the Walt Disney Studio at the time, who was feeling distant from his daughter. He decided to go on a road trip with her, and that brought them closer together. So that's the inspiration for Goofy and Max going on a road trip to go camping,
Fishing.
Yeah.
Camping, yeah.
And what a road trip. Oh my gosh. They like stop at so many places along the way, including this like possum amusement park.
It's kind of like a defunct amusement
yes.
park.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is one of the first things they do at this park is go into this show, which has like animatronic possums. It's called Lester's Possum Pals, and animatronic possums are like singing. And this is completely a parody of Disney's own Country Bear Jamboree attraction at Disneyland and Disney World. It's no longer at Disneyland, but at the time it was at Disneyland, the Country Bear Jamboree. So I thought that was hilarious. That was like, oh, possums singing.
Even more so because they're broken down.
Yes. Yes, with creepy eyes.
At the end, their country bears were quite. They were not working properly. So.
Yeah. Well,
definitely.
okay. Yes. Even now, we went the last time we were at Walt Disney World in just February of last year. We went and saw the Country Bear Jamboree because it's still over there, and it is so creepy because yes, half their eyes don't work, or like their stuff, like the animatronics are not all working, and it's just really weird.
Yes, and like as a teenager, you kind of feel Max's plight on not wanting to go into the Lester's Possum Park.
Yes. Oh my God. All right, Courtney, what other fun facts did you find?
So also I've found this one saying that the voice of Goofy, Bill Farmer, claims that shortly before he began recording lines for the film, Jeffrey Katzenberg told him to give Goofy a normal speaking voice as opposed to the character's signature cartoonish voice. Much to Farmer's confusion, who felt audiences would want to hear the Goofy they were all familiar with and would be alienated by a regular voice coming out of Goofy. After a week and a half of recording lines in such a manner, Michael Eisner and Roy Edward Disney told Farmer to ignore Katzenberg's demands and re-record the lines with Goofy's typical voice.
Yeah. I would want to hear that, though, just to see how weird that would be.
I know, right?
I think he did it for us at the panel that we're going to talk about a little later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I found it super interesting that at one point in really early production, Steve Martin was once considered for the voice of Goofy for this. And that kind of ties into them not wanting that cartoonish voice.
Right.
Because I don't think Stephen Martin really does like a cartoonish voice. It would just have been Steve Martin's voice, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that we got the Goofy voice and Bill Farmer because he's amazing.
Yeah. His personality really shines through just in everything he does.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So also on this road trip, you see nuns. They like frequently appear randomly in different places. So like I think they're in a car next to them at one point. Do they show up at the Powerline concert?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think they're in the crowd. I think
they're
they're
like in like 3 or 4 different places, and they are inspired by the movie Sister Act, which came out in 1992, and they include caricatures of Whoopi Goldberg and Kathy Najimy, which I thought is hilarious. And it's funny because when knowing that this film was made in 95 and I saw the nuns, I was like, Sister Act, because I knew that it was around that time.
Yeah, probably around Sister Act 2, right?
Yes.
Because I don't think much time passed between the two of it, right?
No, yeah, they were all in those 90s. Yep, definitely.
Well, and then for my last fun fact, it has been said, although Jason Marsden is a talented singer, he did not perform the musical numbers in the film. It was out of Disney's concern that a Broadway-style musical actor should provide Max's singing voice instead. That actor was Aaron Lohr, a personal close friend of Jason's. However, 20 years later, at the 2015 D23 Expo during a panel celebrating the film's 20th anniversary, this was rectified when Jason Marsden and Bill Farmer sang a duet of On the Open Road together without any prior rehearsing.
Aww.
Yes, and we happened to be in the room when they did this.
Wow, you guys must have lined up early because I heard there was only like 500 seats.
No, nobody knew about it.
Oh,
nobody knew about it.
Very empty room.
What?
Yeah, it was like half full, and we
it was one of the
did line up
upstairs. It was one of like the smaller rooms upstairs.
Okay.
It was not in like the huge rooms.
okay.
Mm-mm.
Wow, and I heard I remember people like who went to that panel were freaking out how awesome it was.
It was.
Well, they were freaking out because we got an actual Powerline concert from Powerline himself. Because that's we got to go to the concert, and we had Bill Farmer, James Marsden, Jenna Von Oy,
Don Hahn
was
moderating it
there to talk about the film. And it was just like a special little gem panel that we found because literally we got front row seats. I think we were third row back.
Wow. That's awesome. That's so exciting. Well, and speaking of that, so you had mentioned Courtney.
Yeah, so my last fact.
Oh, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was the character of Powerline. He's supposed to be the pop star and the character that they want to go see at the concert. They're all
Justin Bieber of the age.
Yeah,
sort
or the new One Direction or BTS or whatever you're into. But he is actually based on Bobby Brown, Prince, and Michael Jackson. So those are the 3 pop stars that they based him off of. And Courtney, who plays Powerline's singing voice?
It's he in real life his name is Tevin Campbell, which I think he is an actual Christian pop singer, I think in real life. but he does sound like when you're listening to the or soundtrack, he sounds exactly like Prince. Like you would think that Prince was singing the songs. I
Okay.
think for a while I did think it was Prince until I was like, oh, that's not Prince at all. But he moves like Michael Jackson and kind of like Bobby
Prince.
Brown. Yeah, and he
Prince
moves
and
like
Bobby
Prince and Bobby Brown, or Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Yeah, and speaking of, this was made in the 90s, and Disney always has their stable of actors no matter what, decade it is. And so I thought it was interesting that the singing voice of Max is Aaron Lohr, and he was also in Newsies and the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in Newsies. I mean, I haven't seen Newsies in a while. I need to go back and watch it, really.
Yeah, so he's one of the the main Newsy guys. I mean, not the main ones, but like one of the crew, right?
Oh, okay, one of the main
crew.
friends.
Yeah, one of the main friends. So, and then the Mighty Ducks, he was one of the players on the team. So, that's fun.
I think he's also married to Idina Menzel now.
Yeah, you're right.
Because she got divorced from Taye Diggs and then married Aaron Lohr, because it was a big thing when they got married or something like that, that Max's singing voice married Elsa.
Oh, yeah, that's really funny because Taye Diggs was in Rent, and so was Aaron Lohr. Actually, Aaron Lohr was also in Rent. Yeah, he played not one of the main. I know, right? He played not one of the main actors. And what's weird about this is
he was
randomly.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's weird about this is I randomly watched Rent like last week. So I got to see all that. It is so amazing. And what's funny about it is who's playing Ahsoka?
Rosario
Dawson.
Rosario Dawson is in that, and she's like a dancer at the Cat Scratch Club. So here's Ahsoka, and she's like, woo! Dance. It's like, whoa, if you want to see Ahsoka do kind of a lap dance kind of a thing. It's kind of whoa.
Yeah,
a sexy dance.
Mimi.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I know it's all could be
crazy.
tied back to everything, because and then also a plug, go watch Which Way to the Stage with Idina Menzel. It's a documentary on Disney Plus. It's fantastic. It made me cry. We all need to give Idina more props for what she does, because
what's that about, the documentary? Like her
it is about
career?
her basically how she started and how she got her big break and stuff. And she does talk about Rent in there. She talks about playing Alphaba. She's getting what it is her struggles between being like co-parenting with Taye Diggs and being there for her son, and then trying to have another baby with Aaron, and then also getting ready for her tour with Josh Groban.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredible. Wow. Cool. All right. So what I want to know, you guys are so nostalgic for a Goofy movie. So when did you guys first see this movie? How old were you? Like, let me in on the history here.
Oh gosh. Well, I know we didn't see it in a theater. I guess I didn't really realize that it was a theater movie, because my recollection of it is like basically renting it from Blockbuster.
Nice.
And continuously renting it from Blockbuster, like going back multiple times and re-renting it.
Is that what you remember, Kelly?
I don't really remember the first time I saw it. I just always remember watching it. And I guess that's probably because I was too young to remember when I first saw it. But I can remember watching the Open Road song over and over and over and over again. But I don't think that had anything to do with me. I think that it had more to do with Courtney rewinding it. And
I don't know. It's just something about this movie. It was just, it's my favorite. I love it.
Well, let's get into why you guys love it. Like, I mean, right now, I know it's nostalgia partly, right? But why was it a movie that you like locked onto when you were kids?
I think it was the music.
Okay.
I
A big
honestly
part
think
of it is
was.
probably the music.
We were huge sing-along songs. We had all VHS tapes.
For the
And
sing-alongs, yeah.
we would alternate singing songs back and forth. And this soundtrack was just so good. And like I said, I think I remember just watching the songs over and over and over again that I didn't even remember the plot till like 10 years ago.
Okay. So it was more about the music.
Yeah, for me, it was about the music, but I don't know. Courtney can speak for herself.
Well, I mean, I also really like the fact that Goofy's a single dad, and his relationship to Max, even though the Max is basically being a brat the whole time. I mean,
At the time, I related to Max.
yeah, I mean, I related. I mean, I didn't always, I didn't always get along with everybody, and I kind of related to Max sometimes. But yeah, I really liked that father-son relationship that Goofy and Max have with each other. And then also anytime you get Pete, Pete in there, even because it's the same Pete from like Steamboat Willie and the Mickey cartoons. So
Yeah.
he's great. I love Pete. And then you have like Jim Cummings and Bill Farmer. I mean, obviously when I was little, I didn't really understand what that means, but I mean, you've got all of the great voiceover actors in this movie. You've got Rob Paulson, who usually does Pinky and the Brain and all of that, and Rocco, and his laundry list of things. And then you have Jim Cummings, who does every voice on the face of this earth, and Bill Farmer and Jason Marsden. Jason Marsden was in everything of us growing up. He was on Boy Meets
Jason
World.
Marsden was Boy Meets World, Step by Step,
Full House.
Wow.
Full House. Yeah, everything.
He's the voice of Binks the cat. So,
Yeah.
there's that. And we're big Hocus Pocus fans, so everything 93 to 95, we're going to be nostalgia for. That was our growing up, our kid years. So, yeah, that's why.
Nice. That's cool. And the songs are catchy. And what's interesting about them too, is they really play on the pop songs of the day versus musical style Broadway songs. So, I mean, some of them actually, they kind of run the gamut a little bit, but
they kind of have all over genres. Like
Yeah.
the Open Road song is very country, very folk.
that's
You have
true.
the Lester Possum Park theme song, which is totally a playoff of
Country Bears.
Country
That's
Bear
what it is.
Jamboree at Disneyland and Disney World, and then
Chuck
you
E.
have
Cheese, Chuck E. Cheese had theirs house
yeah,
too.
Chuck
so.
E. Cheese too.
That's right.
The broken down animatronics. Throw Chuck E. Cheese in there, and then there's the pop song of Stand Out and
Eye to Eye.
Yes.
Eye to Eye.
I
guess
those
it's more the
ones.
gospel, like R&B version. I'm not
R&B, but
Yeah.
it runs the full genre spectrum, and
Yeah.
I don't think many. I mean, obviously, the classic Disney musicals were very
Right.
Alan Menken, Howard Ashman at the time, and
Very Broadway
they stayed-
style.
Yeah, Broadway.
very Broadway style, very stayed in their lane. Every song was very Broadway-esque or leaning towards pop, but then they would have the pop version at the end of the movie usually.
Right.
But this
Which
was
I
very
hated.
of-
for the
Oh, you didn't like that?
Oh, I hated it.
Sometimes I preferred that better.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand all the synthesizer stuff. Oh my God. That's so funny.
But this one just had a bunch of different genres and a bunch of different things, and
It was just
and
fun.
I think the message of the movie was so
Yeah.
fun too. Is not every parent knows what they're doing. Not every kid is looking to be bad, but sometimes they just think bad things happen. Like the opening scene of him trying to put on a concert for his class. And
Well, because
then
he wanted to
that
impress
kind
a
of going
girl,
wrong,
basically.
and then, but it has a good message to be yourself and stand out and be nice
Well,
to your parents and all that.
And also let the relationship between your parents is like that's your own relationship. It doesn't have to be based on anyone else's relationship.
Right. 'Cause they compared themselves to Pete and
PJ.
PJ and Pete a lot. And growing up and feeling goofy feelings for Roxanne, and it was just a good coming of age story too.
But also Max was afraid of turning into his dad. He, at the beginning of the film, he really was kind of embarrassed by his dad, which, it's Goofy. He's going to do goofy things. And
well, aren't we all embarrassed of our parents?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it shows that. And then also you have Pete and PJ, where like Pete is like, my boy respects me because he fears me, and he yells, and PJ comes and knocks down the bowling pins. It's just because he's afraid of his dad. And so it just shows you those kind of different relationships. And then Goofy goes, well, that didn't work for me, so I'm trying something different. And I was like happy for Goofy that he like stood up to Pete that way, because he doesn't stand up to many people.
Yeah.
It shows a good side of it too, because Pete and PJ, they're going camping and they're like glamping in this big RV, and they have the TV, and they have the whole technology stereo system and everything, and Goofy and Max are just in their little car. They have their little sleeping bags and their little fishing poles, and you can see the contrast of that, and you don't need all of the big RVs and the big glamping stuff to have fun and have a good time. I mean, it's a good messaged movie too. I liked it.
Nice.
So Sarah, it's your first time watching it. What did you think of it?
Okay, so when I started watching it, I did not know this was a musical. So I was surprised when they started singing. I was like, oh, okay. Because I had like no clue about this film, because I'm like 4 or 5 years older than both of you.
Mm-hmm.
So like when 95 came out, I was a teenager, and this was a little too young for me at that. I was going through my phase of, Disney is like for kids, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I wasn't seeing stuff in the theater. I think Hercules came out the same year, I want to say, or near there. No, okay.
No, Pocahontas came out. No, maybe it was no, you're right. Because Hercules came out and then Pocahontas came out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And both of those, and Mulan as well, I kind of like didn't really see.
And Hunchback. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hunchback too. Yeah. I went through a phase, but so yeah. So anyways, but when I saw it this time, I did like we talked about the message, right? Like a father and the son kind of bonding. Although seeing it now in my 40s, I thought, Max is kind of being a little brat, the whole time.
He's brat.
He's a big old brat, and like, so I was kind of on Goofy's side the whole time. And I also thought, you could tell this wasn't up to Disney movie, like classic film standards in terms of the animation. And the weirdest part to me was the girls, like the design of them, the girl dogs.
The girl dogs, yeah.
Yeah. And they had like either a too big nose or a too little nose, or their snout wasn't big enough. I don't know. It was weird. It was like I was looking at a female face of a person, of a human, with this big giant ball in the middle of their face.
Yeah, that animation style came from Goof Troop.
Okay.
Goof Troop was very animated like that, and I don't think they really found their footing with the other animation of like a goofy species, because Goofy and Max are totally one way, and then the whole town's another way.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So I don't know why they were drawn that way, but they definitely look like dogs/humans.
Yes. And it's like a little disconcerting. It's weird, and it just really affects the females. I don't know why. It's like they needed longer snouts to be like dog-like with a smaller nose rather than a big giant nose. I don't know.
Right. And also this was Toon Studios, so like this is back when Disney separated, and it was like Disney Channel and Toon Disney. Well, this was Toon Disney, and so this was Toon Studios, and it was over in France. So they weren't really like
they didn't have the standards.
Yeah, they didn't have the overseeing from Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah, I don't think they were in control of what it typically looked like.
And I think they also were trying to combat with Don Bluth Studios, who did like
An American Tail.
Yeah, and All Dogs Go to Heaven and all of those movies kind of thing. Because like I remember watching those. I love Fievel, Fievel Goes West, American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, the first one, maybe not the two, but like all of those.
Those all made me cry.
Yeah.
Those all made me cry.
You guys, when I went to Universal Studios one time, I saw Fievel. I like freaked out.
Yeah, my first time there too, I went and stood by the sign because it was Fievel.
But yeah, okay, so that's good to know. I do think the music is super catchy. Like I can see how you could fall in love with the music and the soundtrack and listen to it over and over again. And I think my favorite part of the film, like while I don't feel the need to really watch it again. I'm like, once was enough for me. However, I did find it really fun to find the Easter eggs in it, like all the Disney Easter eggs in it, which we're going to go, we can go over them in just a bit, but things like the Mickey Mouse telephone that Max uses to call, I think, did he call Roxanne?
No, PJ. Well, PJ calls when he's late to school for the
that's
first
it.
time.
Yeah. And so the telephone rings and it's like the Mickey holding the phone. It was so cute. So things like that I thought were cool. So that was my favorite part, was like look at the Easter egg here. Oh, look at that. So
there's so many of them. It's ridiculous. Really.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my overall thoughts, I would say. I really enjoy hearing like your nostalgic thoughts. Like that's really cool. So we'll keep going with that. But before we do, I wanted to bring up some of the Easter eggs that I saw. I was making notes as I went along. I think one of my favorite ones was at one point Max and PJ are backstage where he's preparing to do his concert for the class, and you see in the like a homemade set design like you would at a high school, and it's Ariel on her rock in a cardboard. It's like so cute. And then let me see. Oh, okay, so a couple times we see things or they refer to characters. So like at one point, Goofy is telling Max, "Oh, we're going on vacation. It's with me and my best buddy, pal." And Max is like, "Who? Donald Duck?" He's like, "No, it's you." But it was fun that they referred to Donald Duck.
Yeah.
And then
one of them is you actually like when they leave or they go past something when they're in the open road and they pass Mickey and Donald on the side of the road.
I thought that was cute. Yeah, and I think they're looking at a map.
Yeah.
And Mickey's like, LA or bust.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the open road song, there's even some Easter eggs in the lyrics. They sing "I've Got No Strings on Me," which is from Pinocchio.
Yeah.
That was cute. And then there's one more that I really noticed in the diner. Goofy's brought Max to a diner along the way, and on his key ring, there's a one shot, like an insert shot of the key ring, and it's the Disney D logo on the key ring.
Yeah. Actually, we probably was a keychain you could get in the parks at one point.
A lot of times, I'm sure. Yeah. It was like probably they just were looking at something on their desk and was like, "Oh, that's a cool keychain.
Let's put that in." Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many hidden Mickeys and all kinds of things in this movie. And it's just fun to watch over and over again.
Was there a hidden Mickey, I believe? During the Powerline concert, right?
Yeah, there was during the Powerline concert.
Yeah, I think the globes are kind of like in the shape of a Mickey.
Ah, okay.
And then also Mickey's in the audience watching.
Oh,
as well.
fun.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to see. I always see something new every time I watch it. It's a fun little movie that I think really says a lot about the time that it was made, like the 90s and the generation that it was made for. So, yeah. Whether
Yeah,
it's good or bad,
definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, not to say that it doesn't have its little cheesiness
Wow.
to it. It is a cheesy movie. Like, and the plot point of Bigfoot just drops off. Like, we don't know
I was
how
gonna
they get
say,
away from
like,
him.
why was Bigfoot even in the movie?
Because he's Bigfoot.
That
I
is
don't know.
true.
I know. Because so if you haven't seen the movie, there's a scene in there where Goofy and Max find Bigfoot, and he starts chasing them, and they get into the car, but Goofy has left the keys at the campsite outside of the car. And so, but Bigfoot won't leave them alone. He starts playing with a Walkman, and he's done this from like in the middle of the afternoon to late at night. And so now Goofy and Max are in the car, and it's nighttime, and they're tired, and they're just like, we can't get out of the car because Bigfoot then climbs on top of the car and falls asleep. And so they end up sleeping in the car. And then the next time we see them, they are going to LA or something like that.
So they're driving and Bigfoot's nowhere to be seen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, did Bigfoot just get up and walk away? I don't know. He was so interested in them, but I think they end up I think that's maybe when they end up at the diner or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But we don't know how they got away from Bigfoot. So that kind of just drops off.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Wow.
So
All right,
it does have its problems, but it's still a little fun movie.
So then was the Bigfoot part your favorite, or what? Do you have a favorite part? Let's all go around and share.
My favorite part. Oh my goodness, there's so many. But actually I do think that the sweetest part that I always really love to see is when Goofy talks about hi dad soup.
Oh, don't tell me you don't remember Hi Dad Soup. You used to spell things out using the letters like Hi Dad or Maxie or...
Ambidextrous?
Yeah, that's... Huh? More. Little words like...
Hasta la vista?
Like bye-bye.
Or I pledge allegiance.
Or I love you.
And then to apologize to his dad, he makes the hi dad in the soup. So that's one of my favorites. And then also I love when they're going down the river and they start singing Nobody But You. That always makes me cry.
Oh. What about you, Kelly?
I think my favorite part is the end when they're at the Powerline concert and Goofy and Max, there's a bunch of hijinks that goes on backstage and they end up on stage. And Powerline is singing Eye to Eye, and Max yells out to Goofy, the perfect cast, because when they were going fishing, he was teaching him how to cast the perfect cast of the fishing line. And he yells out to Goofy, the perfect cast, and then he starts dancing to Eye. Or he starts doing the perfect cast and it ends up being a dance, and then Max turns it into a dance, and then Powerline and Roxanne and Max all start dancing the perfect cast dance.
Hey, Dad, do the perfect cast.
And if you ever see Goofy in Disney World or Disneyland, ask him to do a perfect cast. He'll do it.
He'll do it.
Whoa.
Even like on when we were on the cruise line and they have like impromptu character dance parties, they always play Eye to Eye when it's Goofy, and he will do the perfect cast. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Can you guys do it?
Yeah.
We have done it. Courtney has choreographed a dance to Eye to Eye. We did
And
it in a dance
stand-up.
show.
Oh.
Yeah, she put the perfect cast in it.
Or a little bit of it, yes. But yeah, we can do the perfect cast.
That is cool. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, my favorite part, Courtney kind of said one.
I'm
of them.
sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. Where Max apologizes to his dad. So I'm gonna say, like, when Pete was talking to Goofy about, how you need to have him under your thumb, I was glad when Goofy finally realized that no, that's not the way he parents.
So, you and your son seem to be getting along just hunky-dory, huh?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's funny, but none of your techniques worked for me. Harder I tried, the worse it got. Once I eased up, things just clicked.
Oh, that's swell.
You know, maybe Max isn't all the things that you think a son should be, but he loves me.
Hey, my son respects me.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool, like, nice learning moment for Goofy and a nice character development there. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that
also
was
love
that
the
part.
fact that Goofy and Pete work at like a photography
Oh,
studio. And they're like, in the beginning, they're trying to get the kids to smile and not cry and smile for the pictures. And Goofy's so good at it. And
yep.
Pete's so mad because Goofy's so good at it.
He's so bad at it.
He's so bad.
He just makes the
Yes.
kid cry.
Yeah.
Basically. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
But I thought that was a cute little like job for Goofy because like I don't think we've ever like seen him have like an actual job except the shorts that he always did with like trying new things or teaching new things
Like how to
in the
be a
earlier
skier.
cartoons. Yeah, how to be a skier, how to do this, and then like the photography studio. I can't remember if he's a photographer in Goof Troop or not.
I don't know. I don't know
But
what it is.
he must be, I think.
That
Mm.
might be the play on of like carried over from the show that they both work together in the it's kind of like what the photo studio of like a Walmart or something like that. Like it's not just a photo
Or like
studio.
J.C. Penney or
Yeah,
something.
Right.
JCPenney's kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. All right. Well, should we share our favorite song in the film?
This is really hard for me because I love them all. I love Stand Out. I love Stand Out. Stand Out is like one of my favorite ones. I think I have to be remiss if I didn't say that Stand Out was my favorite because like
Does
that was
stand out stand out?
it does.
Once you're watching every move that I make, you gotta believe that I gotta watch it. Somebody's the only baby who's gonna stand out. You know it's me.
Why does it stand out for you?
Because the beat to it, like when I started choreographing dances, like when I was like, one day I am going to make a dance to Stand Out, and I did it. Like that was my dance teacher gave us my own class, and I was like, we're doing it to stand out. That's it. So
Wow.
yeah. But it was a different version of it. It was from the Disney Mania CD, so they like kind of popped it up a little bit more because I think in the movie it's a little bit slower. So I did it to the Disney Mania version where Mitchell Musso from Hannah Montana sings it actually. He played Oliver, and it has a different beat, but still like that beat's there in the original, and I just love that.
All right, Kelly, what about you?
Eye to Eye. I love Eye to Eye. I could sing that one over and over and over, and I could sing it for you.
We belt it out at the top of our lungs. We don't care.
Hey!
One way or another, together's where we both belong. If we listen to each other's heart, we find we're never too far apart. And maybe love is the reason why. The first time ever seeing it eye to eye.
That goof kid ain't there.
Yeah, don't worry.
And like Eye to Eye is usually the one that gets played at like all the after event parties. Like she said, it played on the cruise. Any like DJ around like Disney area, they play Eye to Eye, and people just go crazy for it. So definitely Eye to Eye is mine.
Nice.
What's yours, Sarah?
So the one that I'm remembering most, like that stuck with me the most, would be On the Open Road.
Oh, I love that one
I
too.
really like that one. That's like kind of the country-ish version, but there's a lot happening there, and it's just a nice song, a little more even though the pop songs are fun, it's a little more like Broadway-y or country. So
Yeah.
I like that.
There's nothing can upset me, 'cause now we're on our way. Our trusty map will guide us straight and true.
Roxanne, please don't forget me. I will return someday. Though I may be in traction when I do.
Me and Max relaxing like the old days.
Stand dragon breath and
buddy, buddy kind
so
of
mad, I think I may
When I see that
explode.
highway, I could cry.
You know that's funny. So could I just be
Out on the open road.
Plus, you have the juxtaposition of Goofy being like, "Yay, we're gonna do this," and Max complaining that this is even worse than acne.
Yeah.
Dragon breath and acne. It's worse than
Yeah.
that. So
It's funny.
he's just grumbling the whole time.
Well, that brings us to our favorite line of dialogue. Sarah, what's your favorite line of dialogue?
Mine is also kind of an Easter egg. So, Goofy has dragged Max into the car on this road trip that he doesn't want to be on, and Goofy's trying to make it fun. He's trying to be a good dad. He's like, well, let's play a car game. Let's play a game. Let's play, like pick a person, right? Or pick a
The 20
thing.
questions. It's like 20 questions.
Yeah, 20 questions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Max has to guess who
Okay.
it is, and Goofy says, "It." Go ahead and guess. And he goes, "Is it a man or a woman or
Yeah,
like
right.
something like that?"
Man
And
or
he goes,
beast.
"Man."
Man.
And then
he's like, Walt Disney.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh yeah, that was it.
like that's like their first, thought
Yeah.
every time. It's like, Walt Disney.
But doesn't that come back around too? Like I feel like that came back around.
Max
and
tries to
Max
do it,
does.
too.
Max says, "Oh, I'm thinking of somebody," and he goes, "Man or woman?" And he goes, "Man," and he goes, "Walt Disney," because it switches. Max is now thinking about it, and Goofy says it.
That's so funny. I thought that was cute. I liked it.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Courtney?
It's the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
Max, look. It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa. Huh.
That's the what kind of cheese is that called?
It's
Cheese
cheese-
whiz,
it's
right?
the
Whiz
cheese
or
whiz.
canned cheese or something.
Gross.
And
Yeah.
it's their friend Bobby from the AV club.
Ew.
It's
Right.
his form of payment for helping with the impromptu
Concert, right?
concert. Yeah.
Oh my God. I had a friend who would do that. She'd take the cheese whiz and
Just
like
like-
just put it in her mouth. I was like,
Oh,
gross.
Only do that with whipped cream. I don't.
I never really liked cheese whiz, but
Oh, I hate
whenever Bobby was around like that, yeah, the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
it. Nice.
That was a good one. But my favorite, and it's a little bit more sentimental, is when he's talking to Roxanne and he's explaining to her that he lied.
Roxanne, I lied to you. I don't even know Powerline.
What are you talking about? 1 billion people saw you dance with him.
Yeah, well, I never met him before. The concert, that is.
You mean that story about Powerline and your dad? Why would you make up something like that?
I don't know. I guess I just wanted you to like me.
I already liked you, Max. From the very first time I heard you laugh. Yuck.
Very sweet.
Yeah, I like that one.
And while there's sweet and timeless things, there's also some very dated things in
Yeah.
this film.
There are.
For coming out in 95. And like, I don't know if you guys noticed anything, but I wrote down some things when I was watching.
Okay, go ahead.
We're probably
Okay.
desensitized to it, so go for it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm watching with the outer eye. So Principal Mazer, at one point, he calls Goofy in because Max has messed up with that concert, and Principal Mazer straight up says to Goofy, "If I were you, I'd seriously reevaluate the way you're raising your child before he ends up in the electric chair."
Yes.
Oh my God, what a leap. First of all, I don't think you'd ever say that to a parent today. Reevaluate the way you're raising your kid. Like that's like
Right.
a super
big
no-no.
no-no.
Not unless you
Yeah.
want to get slapped.
Yeah. And then to equate his bad behavior with all the way to the electric chair.
It wasn't even that bad.
No.
I'm sorry. He interrupted like an assembly on the last day of school.
Right. He didn't even punch another kid or anything like
Not
that.
violent at all.
He just lip synced to a song in front of the entire school. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And he just mostly embarrassed himself. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And Principal Mazer, incidentally, is voiced by Wallace Shawn.
Yes.
Who is inconceivable in Princess Bride.
He's also
and
from Clueless and all that.
Yes, Clueless. That's right. And so many things. Yeah, so many. But yeah, he's such a... Anyway, so it's fun to hear. There's no mistaking that voice.
No.
All right. Another thing that I found like a little shocking for like Disney animation, but at the photo booth, when Pete is trying to, cheer up that kid and the bratty little like 2-year-old, and the kid like all of a sudden leaves and runs away, and he looks in his photo camera and there's a diaper on the table, and then he looks back down, and then running down the Walmart hallway or whatever it is a bare naked, bottom naked kid.
Well,
like, what? I guess this was made in France.
Maybe they thought they could get away with it because they are technically dogs. I don't know.
Well, there was no tail. But I thought that was like, what? Oh my God. Yeah. And also a photo booth. They don't really have, everyone with their cameras nowadays, like, does anyone have actual photo booths in Walmarts anymore or something?
I think some JCPenney's still have like the portrait studios or something like that. But I remember when I was like 12, 13, the mall photo studio where you got the glamour shots done was so the thing to do. I remember me and Courtney, we got our braces off, and we were promised our glamour shot. I think we still have them to these days.
I have a couple of them,
Oh my God.
And it was the thing to do to go with your friend, and then you both were in the picture.
Whoa.
Just awkward glamour photos. They would put like butterfly clips in
and then
your
they'd give you like
hair.
10 or you'd get like 20, a pack of 20, and then like it was the thing to like give them to everybody.
Hand them
at
out
school.
to all your friends.
So like
on the back
we
of
had like
them.
collection. Yeah.
That is so funny. So we had glamour shots too, but it was like the 80s. So it was like gigantic hair and like big like fur, right? Or something ridiculous. It was
I think ours was like 1999, early 2000s, and like it was like chokers, butterfly clips, and like the background was either like pink or yellow or gray.
I look like the cosmic sky.
Was it that like soft focus?
Yeah, the
too?
soft focus. And like your parents let you wear just a teeny bit of makeup, and like it was just all the rage.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they didn't do glamour shots in this film, but one more thing that really stood out, and this is possibly because I do kids party entertainment, but at the Possum Park, what was that park called?
Lester's Possum Park.
Yeah, at that park. Well, of course, they had a walk around possum character, like a mascot possum character.
Yes.
And which was like a falling apart costume. It was really bad. And he goes and tries to like say hi to Max. And Max straight up says, "I don't want to be touched." And the possum like hugs him anyway. And it's like, oh, that would never like happen today, much less be put in a film today.
I just like,
and then Max smacks him.
Yeah, Max smacks him. But like
That's
the funniest
true,
thing
too.
is like the catchphrase of the possum. Who's your favorite possum?
That's creepy.
It's so creepy. Oh my God.
It's like, I don't think anyone has a favorite possum.
I don't think that possum is Max's favorite possum favorite. Yeah. But we do have to go into our favorite character. So I feel like there's not a lot of characters to choose from.
No, there's not. Especially since it's Goofy and Max for most of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although there
So what
are
do
a
you
lot
guys
of
think?
side characters.
Yeah. But they don't have like as much of a part to
No.
really like, yeah. So that being said, I wonder if we're all going to pick the same, but Courtney, what do you think? Who's your favorite?
I don't like how bratty Max is, but I do like Max, but like Goofy. Goofy is my favorite.
Okay. All right.
When I see him in the parks, I'm like, shh, don't tell Mickey, but you're my favorite. And he goes, what? He gets all happy. It's so funny.
That's so cute. Yeah. What about you, Kelly?
My favorite character is Roxanne. I love Roxanne.
I know. I wish she had more of a part.
Yeah.
Do we ever see her in the parks at all? Like, is she a
No.
walk around?
We don't
character at
ever
all?
see it. We haven't ever seen her in the parks, but Walt Disney World had Max's power line.
Oh.
And I think
Yeah.
on
Okay.
90s night we had Max's power line.
Wow.
His line was so long, I didn't even get to see him.
Yeah, we haven't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine it's long though.
Yeah, it's a long line.
Yeah, I think for me, really just because I think Goofy,
Yeah.
you know, like I would, even though I'm not a mom, I just definitely relate to mom. You know, I have mom friends and things, and I can relate to
Yeah.
them being parents. Yeah.
Goofy's
know, and so I really-
good in this movie. He really
Yeah,
grounds the movie and brings it to
I agree.
a level where it's
yeah,
not so
his-
cheesy. A little bit.
His story is very poignant. You know, he's just trying to be a good dad and trying any, you know, different ways to do it, and you know, taking Max's S as he, you know, Max's as he goes, Max's crap, and just because he loves him. Yeah. So yeah, I'd definitely say Goofy.
Yeah, Goofy's good.
I mean, you can definitely tell the love and care that Bill Farmer took.
Yeah,
with
that too.
His lines and his character. And, you know, he'd been playing Goofy for a while before this movie, too. So, like, I think he's, like, one of the longest ones to voice an animated character. Nowadays.
But this is why the new style of Goofy makes me so mad. Because, like, the new style of Goofy, like, in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, he looks like
cracked
somebody
out.
like ran him over or something like that.
He looks cracked out, okay? I'm sorry.
And I just can't get over the like what did they do to Goofy? And I'm like, here is a perfect example in a Goofy movie. He looks good. He doesn't have like that old man feel. I don't know. Like I think that they really did him dirty in the new look. Doesn't look very good.
Yeah. It wasn't nice to Goofy.
I really don't even care for the look of Mickey and Minnie either. I think it's cute, but it's not my Mickey. Like
it's cute, but it's like unrelatable somehow. Like
I feel like it's
too
unrealistic.
cartoony.
Yeah,
that
too
too.
cartoony, very unrealistic, very like I think I'm looking at a paper or something like that.
Okay.
I love the ride. Don't get me wrong. I love
Yeah.
the ride, and we needed a Mickey and Minnie ride. But I wish they didn't play with the animation so much.
Yeah. Oh, makes sense. Well, so let's see, let's just sum up kind of our thoughts on a Goofy movie.
I think I could watch this movie as many times as I could watch it because I always see something different. I always hear something different. And the songs are really good. I love to sing along with it. So
yeah, I was rewatching it for this, and I was just like singing along with it.
Oh yeah, jam out.
And there's only like 5 songs, but it's great.
It's fun, yeah. And I think I'll definitely be listening to the soundtrack. Maybe not watching the movie again, but I do appreciate watching it and seeing what everyone else has been talking about. So I think I missed my window though on like seeing it and loving it as a
know.
kid.
I
But
mean,
that
even
happens.
like on the last rewatch, I noticed, oh, well, that Bigfoot thing dropped off, or Max was being a brat, or,
Right. You start
kind
to
of
pick it
some
apart as
kind
an
of plot
adult and you
points
can't.
where it's
Yeah.
a little,
Right.
yeah. But all in all, like, I mostly watch it to go to sleep. It's just kind of
Oh.
one of those comfort movies that I like watch. when
Definitely.
I don't want to think.
It's definitely a comfort
So
movie.
So y'all will put on Goofy movie for a comfort movie. I'll put on Newsies.
I'll put on Newsies too, man.
Yeah.
I'm not picky. But yeah, definitely a Goofy movie.
Awesome. Well, we've reached the end of another episode, but we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on a Goofy movie? Where does it land on your scale of movies? Are you nostalgic for it? Have you never seen it? Do you have a favorite song or part of the movie? Just let us know at Neverland Clubhouse Pod on Instagram. And also, you can find us on Instagram or Twitter at Skywalking Pod and at Neverland Clubhouse Pod.
But we want to give a big shout out and thank you to Rob Dellinger for composing our theme song. And to hear more of Rob's work and to see where he will be playing next, please go to his website, alpharhythmkings.com.
We are part of the Skywalking Network, where you can also find other great shows like Skywalking Through Neverland,
Talking Apes,
the Max Effects Podcast,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Today in Star Wars History and Collectopolis, and also Rebel Spy Reject.
Yeah!
That's right. Plugging our new short film all about why Richard Woloski has never been the Rebel Spy.
Oh, go check it out.
If you want answers to that question, go check it out. And you can also check out all the Skywalking Network podcasts and articles at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
You can find us on social media on Instagram at Neverland Clubhouse Pod, at CLT8635, at Kelly Turkel, and at Jedi Tink. And we also have Hive,
which is at Neverland CLB Pod.
There you go. And Facebook is Kelly Turkel and Courtney Turkel.
You can also find us in the Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook group. Just search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland group. Request to join and then answer the questions that pop up. Do it or we can't let you in. All right then, second star to the right and straight on till morning. Join us for our next adventure from the Neverland Clubhouse.
The Goofy movie is certainly a phenomenon, and so is Powerline. And we thought, how could we possibly close the show? And we thought, well, I actually got an email, like a fan email from someone who I know who said, well, you got to close it with a Powerline concert. There's a gentleman who does Powerline's singing voice in the show. And he is with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big Goofy movie welcome to Tevin Campbell.
Let's get you on stage. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. breakthrough. I know